Hello and welcome everyone. This video will be in English. Normally I was making the videos in Nepali language, the Nepalese language, and today's video I'm making in English, and the coming video will be also be in English. And of course there is a reason behind to be in English, and the reason is that today we are meeting with one of the good lawyer from Poland. Before she was working in different countries, for example, let's say in UK, US, and different organizations, and especially she was working in helping with foreigners. So she was providing some services for the foreigners, and currently she started to working with the foreigner here in Poland, especially with the immigration cases. So today we are meeting with her. So this video will be so fruitful and so important for you guys who is living here in Poland as a foreigner like me. I'm from Nepal, so I'm also a foreigner here in Poland. So in this video and in this conversation, we are trying to explore all the questions which might have with us as a foreigner. What are the important rules we need to follow? Might be temporary residence permit, the EU long-term residence card, and also we are trying to explore some changes are coming soon here in Poland. So we have also asked those questions to her, and she explained in a very good way. We are trying to divide these conversations because this conversation is long as well, so we split into 3 different parts. So the first part will be the important rules we must follow while staying here in Poland. The second will be more about the temporary residence permit, what we have to do, what are the rules we need to follow while applying for temporary residence card. And in the third part, we are trying to explain more about the EU long-term residence permit. She tried to explain everything in a very better way, in our understanding way, so you guys will understand everything. You might have some questions even after watching this, so you can write in our comment box so that we can give you the answers, or we will meet with her again and we will give those answers to you guys. And with saying that, we have also good news for you. We talked with her and she agreed to give promotion for you. So if you use our promo code, this will be our channel name, the Bliss, so you will get the 10% discount in her service fee. This is it, what I want to say. This is the intro which I am recording after the conversation, and this conversation is so important for us. So this is the first part. Watch till the end. If you like this video, please give thumbs up and also share with your friends so that we get some motivations and we can bring you more videos like this. So stay tuned, keep watching. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to the Bliss.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good? Okay. And thank you so much for your time. We have been waiting since a long time to have this conversation, and thank you so much. So let's start from your introduction, okay?
Yeah.
So probably our audience may not know who you are. So let's start from your introduction, then after we'll go to the topic.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it, and it's really an honor, and it's amazing that you're so young and you're doing this channel. That's really great. And my name is Anna Maria Rożek. I'm owner of Legal Wings company, and I'm also a trained lawyer. So I finished my bar training as an attorney, and I started to work with the immigration law and foreigners for some time now. And actually I was doing that by my experience for more than 10 years, because I was working with people from India and Africa long time before they start to come to Poland. And when I was a student, I was also doing my internships in United Nations and in the Circuit Court of Cook County in Chicago, where is a lot of Polish people. And I'm working as well with Polonia from US and UK. So that was actually first part of immigration for Polish people was to go to United States. So like now people from India, Nepal, other countries are coming to Poland. Before, Polish people were also immigrating to other countries like United States, Germany, UK.
Okay, there's so many. You have so many experiences and the knowledge. Of course, we can see that. Okay, so thank you for your introductions, and let's start today's topic. So we are trying to explain lots of things today. So there are so many questions, and I'm planning to divide this conversation into 3 parts. So the first will be the understanding of the basic laws of the Poland, especially for foreigners. And second part will be regarding the temporary residence permit for the foreigners. And the third will be the long-term residence in Poland. So for the first, I'd like to start from who we are. For example, I'm foreigner, as I know. Mm-hmm. I'm from Nepal and I'm staying here in Poland since 8 years. So is my understanding, I'm foreigner here in Poland. So what the Polish law tells about the foreigners, how it defines who are foreigners?
Foreigners are actually people who are not Polish citizens. Mm-hmm. So there can be also people from, how we say, third countries like Asian countries. From United States are also foreigners, and people who are from Europe Union who also are not Polish citizens. So all those people are foreigners. So people who are not foreigners are having a Polish citizenship. Okay. We can easily say like this.
Mm-hmm. Let it make it more easier to explain. So I heard that there are 2 types of nationals the Polish law defines, like EU nationals and the third country nationals.
Yes, exactly.
Who is not Polish citizen. So what's the main difference between the EU nationals and the third country nationals?
So EU people from European Union are people who are not Polish, but they are having a citizenship from other European Union member country that allows them to easily travel around, also to work in Poland without having a work permit, but they can stay in Poland as well for 19 days as a third world countries, nations. We can say like this, so nations. But the difference is much more easier for them to stay here longer. So if they just want to stay longer in Poland, they need to register, they need to change their tax country where they pay the taxes and everything. Or if they don't pay the tax because they employed in the other country, they have really simple rules to follow to register to stay here longer. But if you're not from European Union, you're even an American citizen, that's a different thing to follow. The same is now because UK is not a member of European Union now. So also the rules for people from United Kingdom are now more complicated to stay, for example, in Poland more than 90 days.
Okay. So there are different rules for those people who are from EU nationals and not from EU countries, for example, UK, USA. So there are the different rules, and also for the third country nationals. So the rules and the laws are different with respect to the country from which we are coming here. Is that right? Yeah.
So for the European citizens, the rules are different because we're all members of European Union, and generally we also have a European Union law, Codex law, which regulates some things about like transferring people, or like changing your place where you stay, or the travel, or they are more easy. But if the person will come to Poland and live in Poland, they need to respect Polish law too. So this European Union Codex is applicable, but it's not staying, above our constitution, for example, or another regulation. And when it goes to countries which are not in European Union, they're not in the Shengen area, because, for example, we have a Switzerland, which is a special regulations where European Union law in some parts is also applicable, so that the rules are also different for them. Then you have those countries which are not a part of European Union, and the rules are different and a bit more complicated. It's not so easy to travel. It's not so easy to come to Poland and work. There are also some special individual regulation, for example, which Poland has with United States or Poland has with Israel. Oh. But what I'm thinking, mostly you're interested, for example, in Nepal. So for people from Nepal, it's much more difficult because we don't have any individual acts regulating, these things.
Understood. Okay, so the second question will be, what are the legal basis of staying in Poland for the third country nationals? For easier, let's break down into, for example, tourist visa, student visa, working visa. These are the visas which the Polish embassy gives to the other citizens to come to Poland. So these are the way to enter to Poland if somebody wants to come, right?
Yes, correct. So there needs to be always a goal why you're coming to Poland. So it can be, for example, a tourist purpose. So then you can stay for some certain of time and not do any other activities than tourism. And this, when you're obtaining one Schengen country visa, you can also travel all the Schengen area. So, for example, you will get visa to Poland from Nepal that allows you to travel around Schengen, not only to stay in Poland. That's very important, because one of the basic regulations of European Union is that we actually don't have borders. We can travel around without it. You can also come here to work. So before coming to work, on obtaining the visa to work and then changing it to TRC, because the stay will be longer than 90 days. So every person who wants to stay in Poland more than 90 days needs to have a reason why they want to stay for this time. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons can be actually related to work. But before even having this option to get the visa, you need to have a work permit. So you need to have a company which wants to hire you in Poland. And then based on this, you can apply for the visa. Okay. By getting the visa, you can come to Poland. After you come to Poland, you can change it for the temporary resident card. Then you can also come for studies, which also gives you the opportunity to have this temporary resident card for the time when you are a student. And of course, you perform good at your university, because it's not also given thing. It's a thing that is given for some time, but if you don't perform good in your work, and you will lose a job, or you will be, denied from the school from some reasons, then your reason to stay in Poland is actually changing. So you cannot hold this temporary resident card in these circumstances, and you need to inform government about changes which are happening in your life. That doesn't mean that the government or your employee or any other institution is canceling immediately your card or other things, but there is option in the law to do it. Mostly in Poland, for now, those institutions are not using it. So to cancel your temporary resident card takes time, but still you have some obligations to fulfill, like you should have another reason to continue this card and inform in 30 days about this to the government. So that's important.
Okay.
But that's the basic three things. Other one can be that you want to reunion with, yes, with your family. And then, for example, if you have a wife, she can come on dependent visa on you, that you have a work, you're settled here, so your family can join you on this dependent option. It applies also to the some family members, like mother, father. There's also an option, but in the straight line. So for mother-in-law would be more complicated to do it, for example.
So I just want to add one question here. So is the family reunion visa and the dependent visa is the same, or there is some difference between that?
There are some difference. Yes. So when you are, for example, here in Poland, you can have dependent visa. For example, you're both working. You and your wife, you're working, but your wife is losing a job from some reasons. Then she can come. She can start to depend on you. So she's changing her visa, not visa. She's changing her TRC for this to depend on you. Yes, and for the family reunification, you actually apply for this kind of visa to the consulate. So, but it's the reason can be similar, but the
way of doing it might be different.
The applications are different, yes. So for dependent visa, there are different checklists and different, it's kind of, two different things. But if you want to bring someone, then you apply for it to the consulate or to embassy, and those people are still in Nepal, for example. And for dependent, mostly you apply for people who are already here. Yes, but to be clear, it can be also possible that you want to bring your family, and this family will depend on your income. So then the TRC, it will be depending on you.
Okay, so it's kind of similar, but there are just little difference.
There is a difference, yeah.
So let's talk about the students a little bit. So if a foreign student comes here, and what are the minimum guidelines he or she must follow while staying in Poland?
Minimum guidelines. For example, now the immigration is getting more strict. So before coming to Poland, there was this rule, because everyone are saying it's new rule. It's not new rule, so this rule was written there, but it wasn't followed, about the nostrification of your diploma. So if some students are watching us now and they're really planning to come for studies to Poland next year, they should start to work on their applications right now, because the nostrification of diploma by Polish government takes now 1 year. So because the line to do it, it's now the booking for a date for the nostrification now in Warsaw, it's in 8 months.
Oh.
So to fulfill everything what you need to put in this application, it can take you up to 1 year. So 8 months for the appointment, but then we don't know how long to wait. We need to wait for the decision, because if you're in Poland, you know that even when you're applying for TRC, one is waiting for the appointment, second is waiting for the decision, and then receiving the decision. So that's really in Polish government with those things is very slow, and now. So before, no one was actually caring about to have this nostrification of diploma, and the Polish consulates, embassies, they were giving visas for students, but now they say, okay, without this nostrification, it's not possible to get the Polish visa for student to come and study here. So all the students need to be aware that if they're thinking about this, they need to nostrificate their diploma in the as a first thing. After that, we can say about other stuff which they need to have a positive decision for TRC. But for the students who are already here and they have a visa, they came, or they have TRC, also has this expired date, and they need to regularly change it, and they need to apply the new documents. So for them, they need to have money on the account, and we are counting this amount which they need to show also in the very individual way. So it's like as part what you can read, you should have, for example, 15,000. But it doesn't look this way, because 15,000 may not be enough to cover your all expenses, and that is also a regular mistake that students are doing. So actually, how you're counting it for 15 months, because even if you will get first TRC for 1 year, the government needs to be sure that you have this 15 months, yes, because also the processing of the card takes time. So you're getting out those months, and then you need to have for the other period of time which you're getting the card also money. So they need to know that you have this amount covered. Then it depends about how much costs your school, so how much you pay for the tuition. If you paid for the tuition or you still need to pay it, we also need to count this. Then your regular expenses, which includes as well the renting of the apartment and media. In the media, we're saying you pay something for the water, you're paying something for the energy, for the internet, phone, all these things. So we're also counting this per month, what are your expenses.
Okay.
And then you need to have minimum 2,500 for the tickets to come back. So actually this, and insurance. So that's it can be different amount for different person, because it's a different if you're renting room for 1,000 zloty or you're renting an apartment for 5,000. The amount will be different.
Bigger, yeah. Okay. So in the summarized form, so we can say that they must be notarize their documents,
Nostrificate.
educational documents.
You don't nostrification and confirming by notary. There are two different things. So it needs to be nostrified by Educational Board of Poland.
Okay.
So
and the
it
second
takes
thing,
time.
And the second thing is they must have the enough balance to cover their education fee and their accommodation and the expenditures.
And what we are also experiencing from our legal practice from last months, because there was a lot of fake statements, and also a lot of students has some legal problems because actually submitting fake documents to the Polish government or any government institution or even bank or using the fake documents is a criminal offense.
Yeah, of course. That is.
And when you have a criminal case going, if you did this or anything, that's really complicating your case. But anyway, for all foreigners, don't submit any fake documents, never, because it's very easy to track and it's actually complicated situation very much, and it can even cost you the deportation. Other thing is about this statement that people were, especially students, were only putting the cash for 1 day and then taking it out. So they were renting and putting the amount which they need. Now the government is starting to ask to show the history.
Okay.
And I think the rule will be changed because, it's not like, oh, we are only smart and we know that, oh, we're putting for 1 day and taking out. Government is also smart if they observing these things.
Always
they noticing it, and then they will be changing the law. So I would recommend to prepare yourself to come to study in Poland. Also with this a history balance with all the cash and everything, to put a certain amount on your account. And and the way you
okay, understood.
distribute your money, because the government can ask about the history.
Yeah. Okay, so it's same for the foreigners who are working here in Poland. They just arrive here, and what is the first thing they need to do?
So they first they need to have.
We can say like minimum guidelines for work who are in working visa.
So people who are coming here, so they are already here, they obtain the visa, and if they have work, they need to check if the employer is paying their tax and ZUS. Because first thing that the immigration will check is to give them TRC is if the ZUS and tax is paid. If it's not, most probably it will be negative decision, and it's actually nothing we can do with it, because it's not our, it's like something that it's obligation of the employee to do it. I would also recommend not to take a lot of holidays, a lot of unpaid holidays too, because they checking it. And if you even have a TRC for 3 years, now government is checking if you didn't have too long, for example, holidays. And yes, it's possible to fight it back in the appeal, but if you go for appeal, it can really take a long time and you're stuck here. So it's better to even sometimes earn less, but not to have this headache. And first 5 years you have this headache. After you will become long-term resident, then the rules are slightly different to you. You have more flexibility and more freedom when it goes for a lot of things. So I would recommend, if you really are thinking to stay here or stay here longer, I'm not saying forever, maybe, next 10 years or something. It's to be careful with all these things, because some small mistakes can actually cost you another TRC or just a very long fight. And you also need to spend money on the professional help to fight it back, and that can cost you more than you save by not paying tax or ZUS. So it's sometimes really not worth, and those emotions and unslept nights and everything that no one will give you back. So sometimes it's better to go for the employee who maybe it's slightly giving you less, but it's doing everything properly.
Okay. Okay, with this, we are making this first part to the end, and we'll be joined in the next part. Thank you so much.